We're going to look at projectile motion using parametric equations. So our example is, suppose that Jim hits a golf ball with an initial velocity of 170 feet per second at an angle of 20 degrees with the horizontal, with the ground. So we're going to write this using parametric equations, and we're going to figure out how long the ball is in the air and also when it finds its maximum height and what that height is, and what the total distance is that the ball travels horizontally, and then I'll show you how to use Desmos to graph this. So let me just show you really briefly where these equations come from. So in my diagram here I have vectors. The 170 is representing the velocity at which the ball is hit, that initial velocity, and then 20 is our initial angle. So cosine of an angle, cosine of an angle, so cosine of 20 is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And then we can solve this for x. So we would get x equals 170 times cosine of 20. And what does that represent? Remember, this picture is about velocities, and so this is the speed at which the ball is traveling in a horizontal direction. So we can kind of call that the horizontal rate. And then recall that distance is equal to rate times time. And so if I wanted to know how far the ball has gone at a certain time, or as a function of time, that the horizontal distance as a function of time would be the rate. Well, we just wrote a description of the rate. 170 cosine of 20, there's my rate. Distance equals rate times time. So here's my rate, and now I need a time. That gives me the horizontal distance. So great, okay, so there's my horizontal distance. And now I'm going to look at my vertical distance, my height. Okay, so on Earth, if we have an object, I'm just going to scoot this over here and just recall from a previous algebra classes, if we have an object that's thrown on Earth, it will eventually come down. And so we would look at the force of gravity. If our measurements are in feet per second, that is given by negative 16 t squared, and then plus whatever the initial velocity was times time, and then plus height. So if our ball, say it was a basketball and it was thrown from from up high, then we might have an initial height there. So that is the equation that we're going to use for the height of the ball. What we don't have is the vertical velocity. We need this right in here, that vertical velocity. Okay, well, no problem. The sine of an angle is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. And then we solve for y. So y equals 170 sine of 20. And that, remember here, our picture is all about velocities. So this is our velocity, our rate in the vertical direction. Okay, so that's what we're going to use to plug in there. Initial velocity of the ball times sine of the initial angle. Okay, so we found the parametric equations that describe this situation. Now the next question is, how long was the ball in the air? Well, when the ball lands right here, its height is 0. And so we can solve this equation. 0 equals negative 16 t squared plus 170 sine of 20 times t. We'll just set that equal to 0. And I just like to get an estimate here. This 170 times sine of 20 is approximately 58.14. So 58.14 t, and then I don't have any initial height. So solving that, we can just use the quadratic formula. We have the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of 58.14 quantity squared minus 4 times a times c, which is 0. So all that goes to 0. And that's all over 2 times a and what you get here, if you plug that through on your calculator, you would get 0 and then also 3.63. And that makes sense because we've got a height of 0 at the beginning, at time 0, and at the end. So when does the ball land? How long is the ball in the air? It's in the air for 3.63 seconds. Now, how far does the ball travel? That is a question of horizontal distance. So if we want to know how far the ball travels, we're going to plug it into our x formula. So x equals, and just just get an estimate here, 170 cosine of 20 all times 3.63, and you'll get approximately, oops, we should use approximate, that's about 159.75 feet. So that's the total distance of the ball traveling horizontally. Oops, okay, that should be times 3.63. So the total distance traveled there is 579.7. And now let's look at the maximum height of the ball. So that's a vertex question. So we go to our equation. T equals negative b over 2a. There's the vertex. And so I'm looking at my equation here, which we simplified as negative 16t squared plus 58.14t. And that was our general formula for the y. Okay, so the b in this case is, opposite of b is negative 58.14, and that's all over 2 times a, which is negative 16. And so the time that it reaches its maximum height is approximately 1.82 seconds. And the last thing to do is to find, well, what is the height at that time? And so we need to plug that into our equation for y. So we have y equals negative 16 times t squared. We're going to put 1.82 in for our t, and then plus 58.14 times t, which is 1.82, and that gives us an approximate max height of, let's see, the maximum height is 52.8 feet. Okay, so let's see, what all did we do? So the first thing is you're going to use your parametric equations, and the general formula for parametric equations is we take the initial velocity times cosine of the angle times t. That is the distance that you're traveling horizontally. And then the distance we're traveling vertically, we would take and just plug that into our general formula here. Negative 16t squared plus the initial velocity times sine of theta, because we're traveling in a vertical direction, and then that is plus initial height if there is one. Once you have those, then your next job is to find the time that it lands, which is using quadratic formula, get your t, plug that t value right into your distance, horizontal distance. That will tell you how far did the ball travel. Then we want to look at the vertex, which is the vertex formula, negative b over 2a. Plug that, once you get that time, plug that into your y equation because we want to know height, the maximum height. Okay? So that's the general idea for parametric equations. All right, on Desmos, what you're going to do is go ahead and plot an x and a y, like a coordinate. And instead of typing x, you're going to plug the equation for x in, which in this equation was 159.75t. And then, comma, write the equation for the y right in here, okay? And then you can change the t that you want. You can see what the vertex would be and what it would look like when it lands. You can just type whatever value you want in for t. All right, so you can play around and look on how to do this on Desmos.